Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. Maybe we should take a tip from the French. The French government just introduced a new debt reduction package that includes a 3% income tax increase on people making more than $720,000 a year. But no one is screaming about class warfare in France today because it was the millionaires and billionaires themselves who petitioned for the tax increase. In an open letter, some of the wealthiest people in France wrote, "We, the presidents and leaders of industry, businessmen and women, bankers and wealthy citizens, would like the richest people to have to pay a special contribution." That was their phrase, special contribution. The letter goes on to say, when the public finances deficit and the prospects of a worsening state debt threaten the future of France and Europe, and when the government is asking everybody for solidarity, it seems necessary for us to contribute. As in, they realize there's not much quality of life in being rich while living in a poor country, a sentiment that most billionaires in America don't appear to understand. I guess it is true, not all billionaires are created equal. A new Congressional Budget Office report brings bad news for President Obama. According to the report, unemployment will likely be at or above 8.5% through the next year's election. The reason cited for persistent unemployment is weakness in demand, as in not enough people having money in their pockets to buy things and stimulate the economy. And Republicans have done one heck of a job keeping it that way by making sure that any programs put forward by Democrats to help the unemployed and get people collecting paychecks again is shot down. The Republican plan to crash the economy before the 2012 elections is in full swing. Time to go bold with a new jobs package, Mr. President. It's your last chance. In the best of the rest of the news, are the Koch brothers playing into the hands of terrorists? According to a new Greenpeace report, the Kochs have spent huge sums of money lobbying against legislation that requires greater security at chemical plants prone to terrorist attacks. Currently, thousands of chemical facilities across America are putting more than 100 million Americans at risk if terrorists were to target those facilities. Koch Industries and its subsidiaries run 57 of those chemical plants, putting 4.4 million Americans in harm's way. And while countless environmental, labor, and health organizations are pushing for legislation that requires companies to beef up their security, the Kochs are quietly trying to defeat those efforts. That's because they know more money spent on security means less money in profits. Even when millions of lives are at stake, the Kochs can only think about the money. Where's the outrage from the right-wing terrorist hawks? Now we know why Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham dogged President Obama earlier this week on Libya, failing to give our commander-in-chief any credit whatsoever for the toppling of Muammar Gaddafi. It's because they were on Gaddafi's side. A State Department cable leaked by WikiLeaks shows that back in 2009, McCain, Graham, and Lieberman went and had a nice little meeting with Gaddafi, who the men described as an important ally in the war on terrorism. At that meeting, McCain promised Gaddafi all kinds of things. New military equipment, a fleet of C-130 airplanes. Again, this was just 2 years ago. As we know, Gaddafi then turned his own military equipment against his own people in the 2 years that followed and was kicked out of power. Yet another reason why we shouldn't be relying on the insights of John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and Joe Lieberman anymore. The Department of Justice is on the case in the Murdoch Gates scandal. At a meeting yesterday with 9/11 victims' families, Attorney General Eric Holder confirmed that the DOJ is indeed looking into whether or not the phones of 9/11 victims' families were hacked. No target of the investigation was named, but all signs point to Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, given the events of the hacking scandal across the pond. Holder said the investigation was still in its preliminary stages. Another DOJ official said that if there was any wrongdoing found, then the culprits could face up to 5 years in prison. If they find out Fox News was hacking, let's hope Roger Ailes gets the max. Where's Paul Ryan? He's under his desk hiding from constituents. A group of unemployed constituents staged a sit-in outside Paul Ryan's district office last week, upset with the fact that their congressman isn't holding any free town hall meetings during the August recess. Ryan is holding corporate-sponsored town halls that charge people $15 to ask a pre-screened question, however. Well, yesterday those constituents tried once again to meet with their congressman, but were once again denied entry into the building by police. That's right, Paul Ryan is now using the police to make sure he doesn't have to face those same constituents that he's trying to take Medicare from. Of course, as we learned yesterday when the Huffington Post reported that Ryan has a habit of doing special favors for whoever gives him the most money, maybe all it'll take is a hefty campaign check for Ryan to actually speak to the voters. Or, like most old-fashioned grifters, He just doesn't care. Crazy alert. Gaddafis Obsession. While looting ousted leader Muammar Gaddafi's compound in Tripoli, Libyan rebels have made quite the discovery. A photo album shrine to former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Reportedly, the photo album was filled with page after page of pictures of Condoleezza Rice, who Gaddafi once referred to as his darling woman. He even had a pet name for her, Lisa. Which reminds me, has anyone checked Rice's basement for Gaddafi yet? While the Condoleezza Rice photo shrine is a bit disturbing, I have a strange feeling that the fringe despot Gaddafi has actually other skeletons in his closet. Literally. And that's the way it is today, Thursday, August 25th, 2011. I'm Thom Hartmann on the news.